Hello everyone, welcome to my corner of the world. Today I'm going to be sharing a card that I made for a very dear friend of mine who recently got married, and my inspiration is from one I saw online, and for the life of me I cannot remember where I saw it, but if you are the person that made this card, I'd like to thank you so much for the inspiration. So I am featuring the Cheerful Daisies dies. That's where I've got most of my material from here, and it does coordinate with the Cheerful Daisies stamp set. But because I wanted to make this into a wedding card, I unusually for me went to another stamp set, which is translucent florals, because I wanted to do wishing you all the happiness in the world, obviously for my friend and her new husband. Right, so I'm going to be using this video to basically share with you how the dies work, how I made the if you use these dies to pull together this design. So to start with, I'm using Very Vanilla, and this is 11 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2, and then as another score 1 inch in on one side, because this is actually going to be a Bookfold card. So if you look here, it sort of opens just part of the way. So that's my Bookfold card, and I'm going to just finish sort of putting this together. So I'm just going to fold it back on itself like this. And then using some double-sided tape, I'm just going to put a couple of strips down on here. So, and I'm using double-sided tape rather than the any adhesives, because I just want to make sure that this bit does stay together. It doesn't pull apart. So we're just going to get that backing tape off here, and then just fold that down and get my bone folder on there just to make sure that it's a nice seal. I've done a little bit of prep ahead of time. So this is a piece of Very Vanilla, and it measures 4 by 4, because this bit, no, I think I misled you. This bit here is 4 1/2 by 4 1/4. So this piece here is 4 1/4 by 4. And I'm simply going to attach that to the front with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So if you've watched me before, you know I like to put one on each corner and one in the middle. Looks like I'm coming to the end of this particular packet or sheet. And just line this up. There we go. And then I've got another piece here that is again 4 by 3/4. And both of these pieces I ran through the distressed brick embossing folder. And it really does give a lovely effect. I'm hoping that you might be able to see that. And I thought, well, it kind of does look like a wall, and I've got my flowers going up the wall. So, oops. I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid adhesive for this one. And I'm going to pop it in there like that. All right. So there's my card base all ready to go. And I'll pop that somewhere safe. Now, the dies that come with this particular set are, you can see I popped them in a little container so I don't lose them all. So this one here cuts out everything in one go. So I'll be popping that like that. I think I'll trim that piece off there. So I'll be cutting that piece out, and then I'll be cutting out these pieces, and I'm going to do those in vanilla. They're kind of the little sort of pieces that you use to build up the effect on the flower. And if you look really carefully, I'll try and catch this light. Yes, I think we've got it there. You can see that the petals have been embossed with veins, so they look a lot more lifelike. Right, so let's see what we're going to do with that. So I'm going to be using my mini cut and emboss machine. So for this one, I just use a #1 plate here, and then I'm going to put a #2 plate down. You can see well loved, and then I'm going to pop my piece of gold foil with the die on top of that. Now, if you're experienced with using the cut and emboss machine, you'll forgive me if I go over it, because not everybody is familiar. So I'm going to turn it quite slowly, because I want to make sure that the cutting edges of the die really goes through this paper, because there's quite some fine detail. So there is our first piece. Now, we got a few bits and pieces that haven't quite come out. So I usually find that if I wiggle them a bit, they come out nice and easily. And we've got a few little holes that haven't come out. Now, normally I would use my brush here, but I have found that if you use your brush on your foil, it actually will damage the surface of the foil. So you could always turn it over and do it, but I find it just as easy to just quickly pop those out. They're all cut. It's just that they're so tiny, they don't necessarily fall out by themselves. Some of them have. So it just takes but a moment, and then we've got those out there. So there's our first piece. Now the next piece that we're going to cut is these pieces. These are like the veined pieces, and I'm going to cut out on vanilla, and then I'm going to cut this leaf as well. And I'm going to need 2 of those, because there's 2 leaves on the flower. Well, it's a spray really, isn't it? It's not really a flower. So we just cut that down. We don't need all of that. So again, we're just going to pop that on a clear plate and crank it on through. And again, I'm going to go quite slowly because I don't want, well, I do want to make sure that the cutting blades go through that cardstock nice and cleanly. And so there we have those pieces. And then this big piece here. That just needs a little nudge to come out. There we go. And then we have this piece. And I'm going to pop those pieces back in to my little pot so I don't lose them. And I've got one more piece to cut out. I just need one more of these little leaves. And I've got just enough there. To cut. There we go. If you can hear any rumbling, strange noises in the background, it's because the trash cart has just arrived. All right, I think that's it for now with that. So let's get our pieces up together and see what we have. Now, I could have used some adhesive sheets and put it on the back of these pieces before I cut them, these pieces here, but I'm going to use the liquid glue to do this. Right, so you're going to just line up these shapes, and you can see here we've got some little petals and some long petals, so that's gonna go on that one. And then again we've got some short petals and some long petals, so that is going to go on that one, like that. And then this one is quite easy to line up. All right, so we're going to stick these down. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of the petals. Oops, that's a bit too much of a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to line up. So here's our short petals, and we're just going to line up, and you can see that there's some holes in the gold piece that line up beautifully with the holes on the vanilla piece, and that way you can see that you've got them the right way around. So we're just going to give a bit of pressure on there and let that set. And then we're going to do the smaller one. So I am going to do my best to track down the lady who created, whose inspiration was for this card, and I'm going to, if I can, I'm going to pop it in the notes below this video so she gets proper recognition. I've changed it a little bit, you know, we card crafters got my my own little thingy on it. Okay, so there's my my 3 pieces, and again you can see that those pieces line up beautifully with just a little bit of care. And then for my 2 leaves, I'm going this time to put the adhesive on the gold. So I'm going to pop some little bit of adhesive, and then we're going to attach the leaves. And you just want to make sure you've got them the right way round. So if you run your finger over them like this, then it should be smooth. If you turn it over, you can feel the cut edge. So you need to make sure that the smooth side goes down onto the back of the gold. And again, it's quite easy to line up. And just give it a gentle squeeze just to make that adhesive do its job. Okay, so let's do this piece. So again, I'm going to make sure the rough side is sort of upwards so that the smooth side is behind the gold. And there we've got our piece. Just lovely. I can't imagine what went through the mind of the people that actually designed this. It's so gorgeous. Right, so we're going to add it to the card, and for this I'm going to use some mini dimensionals so it's popping up. So I'm going to find places that are big enough to hide them, and there's enough behind it to support the piece so it doesn't sag. There we go. I think I'd be able to get one there. This is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I might just be lucky. Yep, there we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 on there. I think maybe what I could do is to just take a little piece of the edging and pop it there, and maybe just another tiny little sliver and pop it on one of these pieces here. And then I know it's sort of fully supported on the card. So that's what we've got here. All right, so make sure the card's the right way round. And that wouldn't be the first time I've stuck something on upside down. We get these little backing pieces off here. Right. And there. All right. Now this one I've made into a wedding card, but I'm wondering whether or not to use one of the greetings from the original stamp set. And while I'm thinking on that, I'm going to do a little bit of gold embossing. So we're going to take some Versamark, and I've got this little stamp from this set, and I'm going to just pop it up inside there, and also my envelope like that. Let's put some so this is gold embossing powder. I got a little bit that's trailed off there. So this is the gold embossing powder, and it just brings all the gold through. Oh, did you see that? I have a fan on in my craft room, and it just blew the embossing powder all over the place. So I guess I'll be finding that for some considerable time. So we'll get this heated. So excuse the noise, it'll only be for a moment. There we go. So if you've never done heat embossing before, it's probably one of my favorite techniques, and I'll share with you in a sec why. Now, it turns from this sort of dull, muddy colour, and when you heat it up, you get to a lovely, shiny gold colour. And that's why I love heat embossing. It's like magic. And I've got loads of videos on heat embossing in my channel. You can just go look for them. And right. Okay, so my last little thing is I need to have a greeting. And there's this die here that might just take that. Maybe wishing you a happy the brightest birthday. You could always make it into a birthday card. But I'm just looking to see if I've got enough room. I might have to wiggle it around. So I'm going to do Your Friendship Means Everything. Let's see, is that it? Yes. I'll pop it on a block. And I have a scrap of, well, she says I had a scrap of vanilla left. Here it is. So I'm just going to stamp on my scrap. Go in with my embossing powder again. There we go. And give it a little bit of a spritz with the heat gun. There. Now, I'm going to make sure that I cut this toward one end, because I'm going to be tucking it behind one of the flowers. So we're just going to line that up. And put a little bit of sticky tape on there just to make sure it doesn't move. And then rack that through. Lovely. Perfect, perfect. Right. Not quite as straight as I would hope, but I will put that right later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, trim it down and tuck it behind there, because I don't need all of that. I just need this piece out here like that. I think that's going to work. And I'll need a couple of dimensionals here. And then we're just down to embellishments, because you can't have too many embellishments. Let's pop that in underneath. Like that. I think I like that. What do you think? I like that. Okay. So now we're going to go with the embellishment. So let's just clear a little bit of space here and see what we've got embellishment wise. So I've got some lovely gold ribbon. Now this is the gold and silver 1/8 trim combo pack. So you've got your gold and your silver. So we're going to use that piece of gold, and I'm going to make a bow. And I just use the rabbit ear technique. So 1 ear, 2 ears, and then round and through. And I have a video on how to do these bows, so you can always find that one out like that. And I do it sort of slowly and several times so that you can see how that works. We need a little bit of there. Okay, so maybe we'll just pop it on here. I'm going to use a glue dot for this. And I think I'm just going to kind of pop it in there. And then my last couple of embellishments. So these are Neutrals adhesive back sequins, and they came out in the new catalogue, and they've got golds and coppers, and so we're going to use that to just add a bit of extra bling. Let's see. So I just want to pull the gold forward a little, like that. And because it's extra special, because it's a wedding card, although this is the birthday version, but it could be for a special birthday. How about a happy birthday, or like a 50th birthday? So these are the red and green. They say red and green. There's red, there's green, there's silver and gold. So you get quite a bumper pack in here. And I'm just going to put one of these little pearls in the center of each of those sequins. So it gives a bit more lusciousness to the card. There. Well, there is my card, and we've featured the lovely Cheerful Daisies dies. and also the Cheerful Daisies stamp set, and I've introduced a couple of the new embellishments that we have available in the annual catalogue. Well, if you've enjoyed the video, I hope you'll go ahead, give me a little thumbs up there. If you don't subscribe to my channel, perhaps you'll go ahead and do that. And if you want more details on the dimensions and the products, there'll be a link below this video that will take you straight to my blog, and it will take you to this particular post, so you don't have to hunt and peck through the blog to find this card. Well, thank you for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye for now.